Hey guys, so I know that I told you that I was going back and I was rewatching all the old Simpsons episodes, so I'm on season 2. Season 2 would have run from roughly 1990 to 1991, and this image right here is the halftime show of a football game, obviously. We don't watch baseball or soccer on Thanksgiving, or highlight, we don't watch any of those things. And as you can see, it's got a really oddly shaped looking Earth. It looks like it's just basically the Western Hemisphere. I'm assuming that is the American continent because you can see Florida sort of dingling down there. But as you can see, South America is directly under it. It doesn't jut out at all. It doesn't jut out beyond Florida. So this was the first arresting image that I found. And it kind of continues. Basically, Homer leaves the house because he's upset. Marge tells him to go get something, and Marge's ugly stepsisters come there. I call them the ugly stepsisters. But Homer leaves, and it's weird. This isn't another arresting image, but it's kind of strange because the way he makes his voice, I guess it's supposed to be imitating Marge's sisters, but it doesn't sound like Marge's sisters. Is that he kind of sounds like Billy Bob Thornton for like 2 seconds, and he goes like that. It's really strange, but I don't know. I'm not really sure Matt Groening was predicting the Sling Blade movie, but it was just really bizarre. So that was the second sort of arresting thing that happened, because again, he did not sound like Marge's sisters. So he drives away, and then he actually ends up looking for Bart, or they all kind of end up looking for Bart, because Bart and Lisa have a fight, and Bart spends his night in a homeless shelter. And this one isn't really any kind of predictive thing or Mandela affected thing, but it was just a little haunting because you saw the TV anchorman at the homeless shelter, and he was saying, basically, we'd like to sweep these people into the gutter. Losers, deadbeats, scums of the earth. We have our reasons. So one day a year, we toss these people a bone, a turkey bone. So that to me was a little bit eerie and haunting. Another eerie and haunting thing too happened at the beginning of the episode when Maggie climbed up the stairs. She crawled up the stairs actually. But I don't know, it just made me sad because I don't really like jokes about any kind of childhood violence or anything bad that could happen to a child, and this to me was kind of gratuitous. They have all these dangerous things on the stairs. She's on a skateboard. The electric wire is sparking. There's the garden tool that looks like it could claw right into her. So that was a little eerie too. But the most arresting thing in the pièce de résistance is, of course, the image of Uncle Sam. And you can see the hat. I mean, you can see the hat and the American flag. The American flag should not have a red stripe below the star square. And I think I only counted 47 stars on there, but I kept losing my place, so I couldn't keep track. But if you look at Uncle Sam and versus what he's supposed to look like, and this, of course, was something that totally creeped me out when I first saw it, Uncle Sam never had stripes on his hat. But then there's all this reality residue from Halloween costumes and so on and so forth. So that was one of the most striking pieces of imagery from that Simpsons episode. So that was really interesting. Again, that was Bart versus Thanksgiving. But there was also another really interesting episode that doesn't so much have reality residue in it, but it's got a lot of the so-called Illuminati symbolism in it. So I'll go through that really quickly with you. So not just even Illuminati symbolism, but almost predictive things. This one was called Simpson and Delilah. And in this one, Homer Simpson discovers a hair growth product. So he goes to a doctor who looks suspiciously like Bernie Sanders. And he asks to get it. And then the doctor says no. And then the doctor kind of turns criminal, which I think is indicative of a lot of the ways people view Bernie Sanders, even though I kind of like Bernie Sanders. And especially when it comes to the medical community and socialized medicine that a lot of people seem to be opposed to. But in any case, he turns kind of into this villain character, as you'll see. And he meets him in a back alley and he cuts him a deal for this hair growth product. And here he looks like Whitley Strieber. I don't know why. He just reminds me of Whitley Strieber in this picture. So after that, it's just interesting too, because another thing about The Simpsons is that they have all these checkerboard floors. Like every scene, there's a checkerboard floor, and it's usually not black and white until we get to the pièce de résistance, as I call it. It's usually not black and white. It's some other color in white, which is still fascinating. And of course, this is the barbershop because Homer needs to go get a haircut finally and for once. And as you can see, even here, even when there's no color, again, it's a checkerboard floor. And this, of course, is in the nuclear facility for which Homer Simpson works. And they're all on their coffee break. However, at a certain point, Homer gets called to a higher bidding by Mr. Burns. He gets called to room 503, quote unquote, for a better life because he has hair. I don't really understand the connection. I don't know if there is an elitist connection to that, although I'm sure elitist men can get all the hair they want in varying and sundry forms. But in any case, Mr. Burns, of course, has all the TV cameras up. He can look and see all of his employees, and he picks Homer to do his bidding. But it was funny because when I saw that, it kind of reminded me of this, which I had seen recently in Under the Divide Facebook. And this is just really creepy too, because I've often thought, well, I've thought many things about Facebook, but that's kind of creepy in and of itself. So I just kind of paralleled it to that. So then Carl comes on the scene, the blonde, Teutonic, ever so perfectly, what do you call it? Oh, I want to say Armenian, but that's not right. Excuse me, I'm a little out of it today, but I just had to make this video. Oh, what is that? Anyway, it's the white supremacist movement, but he looks like one of those. And so he comes on the scene and he wants to help Homer Simpson have a better life. And he's got a British accent, and I'm picturing the name Carl with a K, very Teutonically wonderful. And he takes him shopping to get a better wardrobe for the obese or gangly gentleman with all the royal crests. And there he is with all the royal crests in the background, looking whiter haired than ever. Actually, he looks kind of like Jake Busey, or Gary Busey. I actually did a movie with Jake, well, I didn't do a movie, I was kind of an extra in a movie with Jake Busey, Starship Troopers, and it was so creepy because I was on this spaceship type set, and there were all these dead bodies going past me on a conveyor belt, and it was just really strange. It was like, was that Paul Verhoeven movie? And we all had to wear these sort of armor type suits because we were supposed to be at war in outer space, and we would walk around Culver City. They would let us leave the lot in our costumes on our lunch break, and so people were making comments like, are we having some kind of war that we didn't know about? Are the LA riots happening again? Because we were all in this armored garb and stuff like that. And it was so funny because at one point we were supposed to advance, like we were supposed to all yell and go rah and advance on something, and there was this one kid, he was so funny, he goes, wait, I gotta get my motivation straight. Are we on Earth or are we in outer space? And we're all like, we're in outer space. It was so stupid. But in any case, the royal crests for the shopping for the gangly and stout men. So he takes him shopping, but he still has to go to the bathroom in the horrible looking bathroom at the nuclear plant, which sucks. But it doesn't matter, because if we pull back, we see Carl there saying, "Get out of there, Simpson! You're called to a better life." And as you can see, still the brick-like checkerboard floor, and I've never seen a more abysmal bathroom in my entire existence. So they take them into the big corporate bigwig Mr. Burns bathroom, and as you can see, and hopefully it doesn't burn when Mr. Burns pees. Okay, that was a lame joke. But they go in and you can see the true black and white checkerboard floor descending upon us. And they go in and there's a sink, and there's a chamber orchestra to be used with the chamber pots, looking very lovely. What do you want to bet some elite people have this? They actually have chamber orchestras in their bathroom chambers. And of course, as they walk in too, there's actually the double staircase coming down each side. I don't know if that's symbolic of something or not, if that's symbolic of some duality, but it is very interesting that in so many rich houses, you go in and it's the black and white checkerboard floor and they have two staircases on either side coming down. It looks very cold and austere to me, but then again, I don't like big spaces. I like nice little closed, confined spaces. And after that, there's not much else. Homer eventually loses his hair, and he gets demoted again. and Carl mysteriously disappears, but Carl has all the angles. He remembers Marge's birthday when Homer forgot about it, and he sends a singer. So it's pretty crazy. Homer has all the pink things in his office, but it's just, I mean, the whole thing is just really weird, and it's just so interesting to go back and watch The Simpsons and see things that you didn't see before. And also, too, one of my subscribers or watchers had a really interesting observation that he left as a comment underneath one of my videos. So in any case, this is what one of my watchers said under my video that's like now at above 620,000 views. I strongly believe Matt Groening is a time traveler and took many of his plots from the future, as do many others. Google it and tell me if these predictions are coincidence. I think not. And then he gets into tinfoil hats, which I never knew that Matt Groening had gotten into. But he just says, in a few years from now, don't be shocked to find out that tinfoil hats stopping brain damage and mind control turns out to be real. It seems anything is possible in alternate realities and timelines. Did you know any type of product from your local shop wrapped in aluminum can safely pass through a shop's detectors without setting them off? Thieves have known this for years. I don't know why he's telling me that, because I'm not planning on lifting anything from any place. But I just thought, you know, his theories were kind of interesting, and I just want to keep an eye on the Simpsons thing. And of course, if you guys saw anything in those images that I didn't see, because again, as much as I'm fascinated by the Mandela effect and conspiracy theories, I'm not an expert in all the imagery and symbolism. Let me know. And peace out, and have a great day, whatever longitude and latitude you're at. Talk soon. Bye.